Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Eric.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Jeff, this is episode number 244. We are so close to the landmark episode
of 245.
250.
And then, well, right after 245 is 246. People fucking love.
We're looking to book a guest for number 250. And, we've had rappers, we've had producers, we've had behind the scenes people, we've had photographers, we've had executives, we've had New York Times best-selling authors. There's been a lot of people up here, but 250, I feel like it needs to be like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Oh, we haven't talked about this.
We have not talked about this. We're looking to book a guest, and I feel like we need someone significant, somebody with a really magnetic personality, somebody with a really inspiring story. How about the guy who used to live down the hall from us at the old place?
I don't like anything that starts with, how about the guy?
The guy who used to clip his nails.
You don't know his name.
In the stair. I want to find out his name.
You want to?
Question number one.
Okay, the guy who clipped his toenails in the stairwell
and
outside of your door.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's who you want to have on the podcast.
I don't know his name.
Okay.
I don't know his story.
Okay. So this is a real who, what, where, when, why sort of situation.
And how?
Yeah.
How did we get here?
Mm-hmm.
How did we get to the point when I spoke to him once in my life?
Mm-hmm.
It was very aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Well, you asked him, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, whatever.
He said, I got kids.
Which,
didn't answer the question.
I want to dive more further into that.
Opens up a whole bunch of other questions.
At the time, I got scared and went downstairs and pretended to look in the mailbox.
Uh-huh. So you want to know this dude's story?
You know what? Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's his wife.
No, I'm still open to the idea. Okay, his wife who works at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
but I was nice to her. I don't think you ever were.
I was not nice to her. I think she like cut you off in line or something at the supermarket when you were trying to check out at the supermarket she worked at, and she cut you in line, and I held that over her head, probably unfairly, for the last decade.
Well, to be fair, I now have questions for her husband because she also had kids, but she never clipped her fingernails or toenails in the hallway
that we knew of. Maybe it happened overnight.
I don't know. We hung around that apartment a lot.
So they're at the top of the board. We can agree.
Uh-huh.
How about the guy who walks around the Upper West Side, an older man with a softball bat? He's always in shorts too.
Well, first of all, I can't believe I know who you're talking about.
Of course you know who I'm talking about.
That dude is jacked.
I feel like he got off on the wrong stop.
In 1954.
On
his way to the Brooklyn Dodgers game.
In 1980. On his way to meet up with the rest of the Warriors.
He only has one outfit.
One outfit, one hat.
And it's like way too small because he's way too big.
Right. Always the same, beard length.
Yeah. He's like
same glasses.
He's like 1,000,000 years old.
And I see him, it's been the same for the last decade, right?
Yeah.
Like the same thing. What's his story? I don't know.
I feel like he's a wizard.
Let's get him on the podcast. How about Ramon?
Okay, our super.
Our former super, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's talkative, Jeff.
We wouldn't get any words in. He has fish in the basement.
Yeah.
He has parrot in the basement.
Yeah. I think two, but yeah.
He also used to spy on people who would have sex on the roof of the building.
Listen, he's got a lot of stories to tell.
Oh, no.
A very interesting family.
Here's the thing about Ramon. He has great stories.
He'll talk to anybody. He'll talk to the toilet, when he comes up to like sort of work on it.
Yeah, people are going to think that's a joke.
No, that's serious.
That's a very serious
thing.
You
motherfucker.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
You bitch.
Yeah.
You bitch.
How about the ladies who worked at the ramen place?
I would say they're not going to come on only because they loved me as a customer.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they? You're nice.
Yeah, I'm nice.
You pay.
And then about probably like 6 months into our customer-waitress sort of relationship, I told them what I did, and they were not interested.
Oh.
Could not be less interested.
That was it?
That was it. So like they were just, I was like, I was just in LA. They asked me what I did, and they were like, let's never talk about this again. So I don't think that they're going to come on.
Transaction.
Yeah.
Well,
so it has to be an Upper West Side character.
No, not necessarily.
Could it be the guy who walked around the city with a cat in his head?
You know what? I'm open to that. I don't know anything about the guy besides the cat. Is that a twofer? Do we get the cat also?
I heard that he's a jerk.
You know people who know him?
I think that there's like internet articles about it.
You heard?
Yeah.
That he's a jerk.
People should search for NYC man cat head.
Can you do that right now?
Wait, let me see.
NYC cat man head. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to... If anybody knows him, let's get in contact with him. Maybe he can be guest number 250.
First result. Result.
What does it say? Jerk?
No. Man with cat sitting on top of his head in New York City.
Yeah.
Then there's all the videos.
Well,
of
where
him.
is that? Where's that linked to?
Just an angry guy with a cat in his head. Vine.
So 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's compelling enough?
Oh, he was a Humans of New York guy.
Do you think he's compelling? Of course he was.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's compelling enough for an hour and a half conversation?
His name is Nicholas. No, wait, Nicholas is the cat.
Or do the story gets greater.
Yeah.
Wait, do we get him for like a Mouse Jones? Oh, there we go. Mouse Jones type episode, so a double episode with Nicholas the cat.
His name is Catman Charlie.
All right. Have we found our 250th guest?
No. Keep going.
All right. Well, here, guys, here's the chance for you to suggest people to us to get on episode number 250. Let us know who means something to you. Who have you always wanted to hear sitting in our apartment here on the Upper West Side, talking to us, diving into their life, going over their journey, and revealing all? Let us know. Hit us on Twitter. Hit us on Instagram. And let's figure this out. Episode number
245.
250. Jeff, who is on episode number 244 today?
Today we have our good friend, the queen of Duce-Palooza.
Yep.
The princess of the rock.
Yes.
Ravie B.
It's Ravie B.
It's Ravie.
Ravie B.
Ravie, our Indian princess
I'm
from
surprised
Bollywood.
no one has said Ravie B. Ravie B. You know, the photographer, Ravie B.
Mm-hmm.
Raven is her real name. Raven is a real-life friend of ours who, you know, a lot of people have been asking over the last maybe 2 years to get her on the podcast. And we're like...
We already had her on.
She's been on.
She's the woman with the cat in her head.
Raven's got a great story, and she told her origins back a couple years ago ahead of the Ebro episode. We doubled up, had Raven at the beginning, and then followed that up with Ebro. But she's led quite a life since then, worked with a lot of people. She's behind the lens. She's been on tour with Jay-Z and Beyonce.
And Duce-Palooza.
She's worked with LeBron James.
And Duce-Palooza.
And Future and Cardi B and Tinashe and lots more people. She's a fantastic photographer. She is a fantastic person. She is super intelligent.
Yeah, she went to NYU.
She went to NYU, which her mom is really happy about.
Yeah, she's a fighting violet.
She's not only got a great story, but she's super personable. And we were really excited to get her up here and just hang out.
Yeah, I mean, it should be said, Raven does not do interviews.
No, so
she's
was
done,
significant.
Yeah, she's done our podcast now twice.
Yes.
And, or 1.5 times, I guess.
Sure.
I think that her journey is very relatable for a lot of people who are coming up in the industry, especially for women.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that she's the first woman that we've gotten on the podcast this year.
In
2019.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, happy Women's Month.
Oh, yeah.
Did we do that because of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Jeff, do you have 3 episodes that people might be interested in hearing based off of this episode right here?
Well, this is sort of a cheat, but I do think that people should listen to the first episode that Raven did with us.
Okay. And you're going to look up what episode that exactly is.
Number 57.
Number 57, Jeff.
With Ebro and Ravie B.
Raven talks about her awful day job before she quit and decided to become a creative. She talks about laminating a fake pass to get into and behind the scenes at Summer Jam. Guess what? Did not work. And she talks about ultimately going to Summer Jam as a paid photographer and putting in that work and getting her in a position to be the photographer that she is today. And to hear this episode compared to that one is like very refreshing and really cool to see how much she has grown.
I also want to say, so we talk about Mike a lot in this podcast.
Yes.
And Mike is Mike Carson from episode number 105.
Mike Carson, who is Big Sean's creative director and well known around the industry as one of the smartest, most dope people in the business, and certainly has earned his keep around Kanye and Jay and Sean and countless others in making people's visual dreams come true.
Yvette Noel Shore.
Shout out to Yvette Noel Shore, Beyonce's publicist, Chloe and Halle's publicist.
Yep, both of them. Yep.
Both of them. Formerly John Legend's publicist, formerly Mariah Carey's publicist, formerly other people's publicists, but she is best known and most known for being Beyonce's publicist and Destiny's Child publicist, and she is just a remarkable person, a remarkable human being who's gone through a lot in her life and is the most bright light in this universe, and her story is truly inspiring.
And that's episode number 217.
Jeff, when do you want to get into this one?
Right now.
Yo, what up? It's Eric, a.k.a. Starbucks Venti Americano, a.k.a. Big Drip.
Yo, what up? It's Jeff, a.k.a. Speak the Wrong Word and You Will Get Touched, a.k.a. Robert Kraft.
Yo, what up? It's Raven, a.k.a. Ravie B, formerly known as Young Megapixel, now a.k.a. Girl Fear.
Yeah! It's your third favorite podcast, the Week's Time with It's the Real. Chuchi, what's happening?
Oh my. We said we were not going to do. My mom is going to be so excited.
She's going to be so happy.
She was like, oh my God, are you live streaming this? And I was like, no.
She needs to come over and visit.
Yeah, you should have brought her.
No.
Yeah.
I'm in a space where I want to keep her safe and off the internet.
Okay, yeah.
And so her having a private Instagram account for me is like,
she gets a little love on the Instagram stories.
People like request her all the time, and I'm just like, I have to go through her phone on the daily and deny them.
You are the Wizard of Oz behind her account.
Yes, but I have friends like you guys telling her to have a podcast.
Yes.
My other friend came over and was like, you should do YouTube videos cooking. And I was like, who is going to produce these videos? Me.
Yeah.
And she would just, I can't imagine her dealing with negative comments. Or she would be destroyed, and she would destroy other people, and she's not politically correct. So I just think in this day and age, she should have her private Instagram where she writes very thoughtful captions to people, and where she writes ridiculous captions for herself.
Yeah. I mean, well, she's best friends with everybody, including us.
Yes.
Yeah, she is. She is best friends.
I think it's great. Does your mom have a favorite sort of part of your career? Is she just like, oh, I really, want to come to this show, or I want to be backstage at something else? Everything.
Right now, she's really excited about the iHeart Awards.
That's big.
So I got 2 tickets. So I was like, okay, I have to take my mom. Like, this is, like, it's not the
That is
Oscars
the
or the
dream.
Grammys,
No,
but it's like you have to take your mom to anything that you may win at.
How many times does she vote per day?
A lot. And I didn't even know that she knew how to vote because she doesn't know how to log into her email address. But I watch her. I have like a video of her like voting on the computer, but she like votes. She tells like everyone to vote, like her heart doctor, anyone she sees in the supermarket,
sweet, though.
all of our friends and family. Yeah.
Before you got into photography, what was the thing that she would like brag about you the most?
Well, when I was young, she would brag that I was like always the main role in drama. 'Cause I was like in a drama troupe for 6 years. And then she would brag that I was in a specialized high school. That was a big deal. And then I got into NYU.
Yeah.
And then
she bragged that you hated your job.
Yeah, then she bragged that I hated my job. Now she brags that I'm a superstar photographer. As she likes to call me.
So where are we at with the iHeart Awards?
So they're March 14th.
Right.
So, yeah, we're still voting.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I was just having this conversation earlier because I have like very mixed feelings about things like this because like I always have been the person to not like get myself excited, which I probably should be super excited because I was like super thankful and I was like, man, I already felt like I won like doing the OTR tour and then for it to be like nominated, and I think it's like the first year of like tour photography as an award, which is like kind of crazy, right? So I was like, man, like this is so crazy. I'm gonna win. That was my first thing. Yeah. Then I started to be like, oh my God, I might not win.
Wait, who are you against?
I'm just against a lot of other like brilliant photographers that shoot artists that have these crazy fan bases. Like Shawn Mendes is photographer, Dua Lipa, Harry Styles.
Do you want to shit on them while you're here?
No, because I went and like looked at all their work and I was like, man, everybody's amazing in their own right. They probably should give us all the award, which is what you should do. I heard.
Yeah.
But
you sound like J. Cole or Drake or whoever.
Like awards don't matter.
Yeah, give it to all of us so I can take it everywhere with me. But I was like really worried because I don't feel like hip hop is like really big for the iHeart like fan base, which is another reason why I thought it was so cool. I was like, man, like Jay-Z and B are the only people that are nominated in this category that are hip hop.
Right.
So then I started to get nervous that I wasn't going to win. And then I was like overwhelmed because my mom is like, we're going to the awards. And I'm like, oh my God, like now my brother wants to go and he wants to buy a ticket. I'm like, all these people are going to go. But it's more about the actual moment of going than it is for me about winning, as cliche as that sounds.
Do
you get to give a speech if you win?
I don't even know if it would be televised. I mean,
well, it doesn't matter. Like,
I would give a speech on my live.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would take the award everywhere. I want to take this award everywhere.
You should.
Wait, do you know what the award actually looks like?
Yeah, it's like a little heart on a little podium stand thing.
So you can't like drink out of it.
No, but I feel like I could just take it like I would take it to last lap. Like I would take
oh
it
my
everywhere.
God.
Yeah.
Everyone would take a picture.
They
with
can
the
put
award.
it on the shelf at last lap. Yeah.
And I feel like it's so important for me because I feel like everyone is like, oh, like when people tell me they vote, I'm like, no way. Like this is so crazy. Like I expect my friends to make fake accounts, vote 100 times a day, whatever. Right. But like when it's someone like completely random, I'm like, this is like so insane to me.
You're now 5 or so years as a professional.
July 2nd makes 4 years that I've been freelance, but I would say like five or six and be like being professional.
Is it a reality to you yet that you are like the underdog who is now nominated for a real award? Like, have you taken the time to really understand that you have all these people rooting for you?
To a degree, I think that I'm having like multiple realizations at the same time. Like, I have to realize that I'm 28 and like this is still very new and there's like a lot of hard work that still needs to be done and like what do I want to do with my photography career? At the same time, I feel like I'm realizing that there are a lot of people that see themselves in me and are like just excited for me because for whatever reason or time we have a relationship or they just feel like they know me. And I feel like I have accomplished a lot in a short amount of time that I should be happy for, but I feel like I don't really put a quantitative amount on what I've done to say. So I'm just like trying to live in the moment and be like super excited and then not be like so hard on myself because I feel like I'm super hard on myself.
Well, do you have like OGs in the photography space? Like people who are like, oh, this is how you do like a gallery show. This is how you do.
Not really. I think that like my photography career and like whatever blueprint I'm creating is like very personal to me. I don't feel like it's been done before for like numerous reasons. Like we didn't have the internet. This wasn't really like a thing in the way it is a thing now.
Right. You didn't have the iHeart Awards growing up.
I didn't have the iHeart Awards. I didn't have like Instagram, Twitter, and like the way you share photos, the way you talk to people. Like, you know, what's the difference between now like having a gallery here versus having a digital gallery online? Like all these things, I feel like print isn't what print was. So I never really knew how to measure what I was doing or like decide like where I was going to go next with it. So now I'm trying to figure out my career, which I feel like for me, I don't know who I should look towards and be like, okay, they did it this way, because I feel like I want to completely do it my own way.
Well, so as we discussed the first time you were on here, your brother is significantly older than you.
16 years.
16 years. And that essentially means that you were like on your own. Mm-hmm, you're like an only child.
I am. And that's the thing. For so long, people didn't know I had siblings. Like I have siblings on my dad's side as well, but we didn't grow up together. And then like I grew up with my brother, but to a degree because he's 16 years older than me. So when I was 2, he was like in the Somalian war. So then he got out the war and was just like, you know, in his 20s living his life. So it's always been just me and my mom. So for so long, I was like raised as an only child like my whole life. Like even now, like our family dynamic is so funny because there are 2 of us and like we spend time together and we're both like my mother's children, but we're so different, but we're still very similar in like trying to tell my mom things.
Yeah.
But like we both have such different experiences that it's like it's so insane. Like I would pay people to watch it because it's so ridiculous. Like the other day I was like, man, we should really be happy that we're like working this out because I was like really raised as an only child and I have only child syndrome in everything I do.
Sharing?
So, yeah, not good at sharing.
decent.
No.
It depends what I'm sharing.
Yeah.
I used to like crave siblings and crave family, which is why I think like my friendships growing up are so important, because we've been friends my whole life. So they're like my cousins and they're like my sisters and brothers, even though they're just my like best friends.
Well, and we see a lot of them in your game nights,
And, like,
on your Instagram. Like
yeah.
you still hang with the same people that you grew up with.
Yeah, and they are very much like, oh my God, you have 1,000 gazillion followers. Like, put us on this.
That's why.
Make like birthday posts are very. I've been chewed up about birthday posts now.
As in, if you don't put one up?
Yeah, like my friend was. She's gonna kill me, so I'm not gonna name her name.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But-
just say her Instagram handle.
No,
Yeah,
no,
please.
No, but she was like, oh my God, you only put 2 birthday posts up about me, and you put 5 about our other friend, like to 100,000 people.
Yeah.
She's more important than me. And I was like, we've been friends 15 years. What do you mean?
But did you tell her, yes, the other person is more important
No,
than her?
I basically was like, if I post more birthday posts, it's because I like how I look in those photos.
Okay,
So, yeah, we only had 2 photos that I really liked. So that's why I posted them. So
Wait,
now,
shouldn't the real thing be like, hey, if I text you or call you, then
Or
it's
go to your
real?
birthday-
No, but
Yeah,
that's
right.
not
No.
content.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what
sorry.
are you,
no, but it's
crazy?
like
Yeah.
really funny because I feel like my friends to this day are still like my best friend will be in like comments like fighting for me.
Well, who is your best friend?
Oh, no.
Well, I'm talking about my best friend Angel. He's
Okay.
like one of my like the all best
Yeah,
friends.
How many birthday shout outs does he get?
He gets a lot.
Okay, good.
He
A
gets
lot of good pictures of you.
Yeah.
A lot of good pictures of me and like childhood pictures.
You can have more than one best friend, by the way.
And I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm not going to name them all, but they
Yeah,
all know who they
yeah,
are.
yeah,
But
yeah.
he will be in the comments, like honestly, arguing with people.
With people he has no idea in
Yeah,
real
like
life.
the other day, someone like I commented on like Cardi's photo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of her video. She posted the video of the lady on the train that I recorded like 8 years ago, right?
yeah.
But I'm like so amazed.
The woman like grinding to herself.
Who I always am like, oh my God, I hope this lady never saw this video and is like so
Oh,
mad at me.
I thought you were going
right?
to say, I hope I see her one day.
No,
Like-
I don't want to see it because I don't know how it's gonna go. So she's like,
Hey,
I shouldn't really be taking credit for it, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this video is still viral. Like, this is so amazing. So I wrote like, can't believe I recorded this, and somebody wrote like, here you go chasing clout. It's like, first of all, I hate the word clout.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then I was like, what? I really recorded this. Like, why would I be chasing clout? And I woke up and Angel was just in there writing back to everybody, like arguing with them. And I was like, Angel, like, you can't tell people to go eat a pork chop. Like, you can't be.
Well, first of all, that's a good.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a good line.
I think he can do that, and he
I was
should
like,
do
you
that.
can't be mad. And he's like, no.
Can Angel be our best friend?
He's like, how dare people do this? I'm like, it's the internet. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? Like, but that's something I've had to learn because there have been so many times that people literally will tell you about yourself online, and you're like, then you're like, this person has like 1 follower, and then or like their page is like full of like crazy, insane quotes, and you know that they're just like they spend
The
their
best.
whole day
Yeah.
just doing this to people on the internet. But
But this has been a process, right? Like
Yeah.
you didn't like immediately jump in and be like, oh, fuck commenters, like I'm good.
no, like sometimes, like I've cried,
Yeah.
I've been upset, I've had to like log off. I think people are just really mean to everyone and everything.
Especially if you have a little bit of success. Like that's nuts to me. Just people, I don't know where it comes from. Jealousy or just like anger at themselves or anger at the world or whatever.
And now it's just like magnified, I feel like, because like you shoot people they are obsessed with or your places they want to be or anything, and they're just really mean. And I'm constantly like, man, it's so important to me to just focus on like the people I do care about, the people that do know me, like the people that are like, oh, I want her to get online and post, because you kind of get to a place where you don't want to. Like, I don't tweet about anything. I don't want to say of importance, but I try not to tweet on other people, like comment on other people, celebrities, or like even like events, like, things happening in every day, because I feel like it's just not the place anymore. I'd rather just talk about
Game of Thrones.
Sure.
Yep.
things I watch,
Yep.
And the
games I'm
apps.
playing,
Yep.
and the apps. Anything I'm buying now, that's another thing.
Okay. Oh, true.
And like
Seen a lot of that
asking
lately.
people about like things they're doing, because it got to a point where you can make a comment and someone is literally going to tell you that's not what you meant, and you're just like,
right.
Right.
What do you mean that is not what I meant? This is literally what I meant to say.
Well, I do want to bring up an Instagram comment that you did put up,
Okay.
which is that there was a video of a guy who looks very much like me.
Oh my God.
who was dancing Island Rhythm in London.
Yeah.
And
that's not you.
A lot of people think it's me, so it might as well be me. But the fact is that Raven said, "Are we sure it's not him?" And then I think I got like 90 new followers off of that. Like, not even off of like my own work. The most famous thing I've ever done is look like this kid.
Right. Or the kid from the Dipset video, right?
Yeah. He had a lot of moves, and honestly, I just felt like it was you. Yeah. And you're lying.
By the way, Jeff's...
I haven't seen you in a while.
He's a good dancer. Yeah. He's a good dancer.
I do believe you're a good dancer. I feel like anytime I've seen you dance, I've been too drunk to remember. And I've seen Eric by himself a few times, and I haven't seen you. So
right. I was in London. I was getting it in.
Dance classes is very...
I didn't need classes. I just showed up to that class.
Right.
And I instructed everybody.
Your dance life, it makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't put it past you.
We saw you in Cleveland for the first U.S. date of the On the Run 2 tour, and we got to see you actually there with like all these lenses hanging off you. Do you wear comfortable shoes? Did you have to learn to like wear shoes to run around with all that sort of weight dangling off you and a job to do?
Okay, so when I was packing for the 5 months, right?
Yeah.
I packed a bunch of sneakers, obviously, because I would like to think that I switch up my sneakers.
Oh,
like in my head.
To look good.
To look good. I was like, oh, these are for this, these are for this. And I have a pair of Nike Techno Monarchs, which like people consider like the dad sneaker.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna pack these. And they became like the only sneakers I really wore to shoot in. Unless it was like a really like, unless I really wanted to like kind of dress up and maybe I put on my ones, but I lived in them. They are the most comfortable sneakers ever, which is probably why dads wear them.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, these are so comfortable. I would wear them every single day.
Did anyone convince you not to?
No one can convince me to do anything, but I was obsessed with them. And you have to wear all black, and they're black sneakers too. So when you're shooting on a show, it's like you have to wear all black.
Wait, you have to wear all black because you're on stage and they can't catch the lights?
Well, it's just an easier way. Like you're a shadow, and like if you are in the dark, you're not seen, and you don't kind of distract the show. But you would still see us. Like you see Ben in like every clip possible.
Shout out to Ben.
He doesn't care about not being seen. I was like very adamant about not being seen.
By the way, great thing about Ben is that he has the exact same name as Macklemore.
Really?
Yeah, Ben Haggerty.
Yeah. That's Macklemore's name?
Yeah.
First of all, Ben is going to be so happy we're even mentioning him on this podcast. He is like, he wants to shout his podcast out, Black with No Cream. He's obsessed. He's like the opposite of me on like promoting himself. He's like full promotion. I'm very like minimal, to be minimal promotion.
Right.
But yeah, so we all had to wear black.
Okay, let's get into logistics though. How many different lenses did you have at any given show?
Okay, well at the show I had about like 5 or 6.
On you?
No. On me, I would limit it to 3.
Okay.
So I always had the big one, which was like the 500 millimeter that everyone would like see and be like, oh my God, that's huge.
Like you're on the sidelines of a football game. Yeah.
But they have tripods and I was just holding it like a psycho. And then I always carried a 70-200. Always. That's probably like my favorite one to shoot with for the show.
Same.
And then
I love carrying a 7200 around.
Yeah. This sounds really informative. I love when I sound like a photographer.
Yeah.
And then depending on if I was going to be backstage a lot, I would try and carry like a prime low light lens. So either a 50 or an 85.
And then
my
what
24
filter
to 70.
do you use?
Well, there are like actual camera filters.
Yeah, but what Instagram filter do you use?
I don't use any Instagram filters, okay? They're all edited before. But we did use like star filters, which are like really cool and like reflect off of like shiny things, which I feel like a lot of people use nowadays too. They kind of add like that little element of it being like fun and fantasy.
And your job is to just get as many different angles as possible, and you do as much running around within a certain amount of time as possible?
Yeah, it's so crazy because when I was on tour and you're like running around a stadium and you look at your little app, you're probably running around, it would say like 9 to 13 miles a day, right? Basically because you get there so early and you're walking around and you're walking around through the show, and then like now my app says like 2 miles a day. And I'm trying to figure out like why my body feels so out of whack. I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I was like actually like running around and exercising.
Right.
But you don't notice it because you're just like running around.
Yeah.
And everything else feels so small after that.
How does it work in terms of taking photos of Jay and Beyonce? Like, is there like a set time that you guys have together? Like, do they invite you to come over? Like, how does that work?
I think it's just on tour. It's like, well, once they get there, depending on what they want, is like when you start to shoot. So like if they want photos, then they're going to call you, and they're always going to be really mindful, like, hey, we want you to shoot this, or we don't want you to shoot that. So I don't think there's like a set time. It can be at any time, or it can be like at no time.
Mm-hmm. Is there a city that you went to that surprised you how great it was?
Cleveland, because we were there.
Yeah. I didn't really like Cleveland. Not in the U.S., but definitely like overseas. Like some of the places I thought that I wouldn't really like care about, like Cologne or like Poland. I went to Benihana's in Poland.
Wait,
no, not good. It wasn't good.
How is it different?
It's so different. It's terrible. The rice is terrible.
Were the techniques the same?
Barely. Some of them. They do the same hats.
Same hats.
Mm-hmm. Same hibachi. The food just wasn't the same.
What was the hibachi guy's name?
I don't know. I don't remember. Oh my God, but they let me flip the egg and live out my dream.
Well, that's amazing.
Yes.
How can you shit on like Warsaw references?
I know, yeah.
Krakow.
Yeah, I mean Europe, like it was just like Cologne, Berlin, just like being in Europe and seeing, I mean, the stadiums were so different, and like some of them were so old.
And you were also over there for a prolonged period of time.
2 months.
Yeah, before you even came back.
Well, I came back once for my mom's birthday.
Okay, yeah.
But other than that, 2 months.
Wait, are you getting like tours of the different stadiums while you're over there?
Yeah, so we would basically like walk around because we were there early, so we'd like get to see the whole stadium. We did the Olympic Stadium in Germany, which was like really insane, and like saw the tower that Hitler stood in.
Wow.
And like a lot of them, they just have like this kind of energy that's like pretty surreal, because they're so old and so massive and so much has happened there. And also, they all had really terrible Wi-Fi because they were so old and like you couldn't. It's really
it's the most important thing when you're
there. It's really refreshing to come back to like the Mercedes-Benz stadium. But my greatest gift of touring was like working at such a high level with so many incredibly talented individuals and artists that like there's no room to not work at your highest potential. And I think that like you come in and everyone is there to work, you know, and everybody's like valued and everybody matters, and you're like, there's 300 people on this tour and we're all doing it together, but like everyone is working at the highest level. Like the stage setup is insane, you know, like you could not go down there and even know how to work it, you know, like the pyro guys, like, and we're all working together, like me and Ben and Andrew and Lauren and everybody. It's like, you know, you got to be mindful of the logistics of like the stage and logisticals of people's time, and like you have to know like when the pyro cue is so that you don't get burned. Like Ben is always almost getting burned. You learn so much about working with people, and I think it's like really important to talk about how, you know, everyone's role is really important, and I think that sometimes the glitz and glamour roles are like the ones people want to do. And then for me, my biggest takeaway was seeing like all these people that honestly tour way more. Like this was like my third tour, but like my first real tour. And most people that tour their whole lives. Mm-hmm. Like the people that design these stages, that do pyro, that do sound, that do lights, like their whole life is touring. And they're older and they have families, and being really mindful that just because they're not like the verified, people being seen, or the people with 100,000 followers, that their role isn't as important to me, very, very much so more important than me. And that like being mindful, because I think we're like these young kids like running around, and like there are other people trying to do their jobs.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to take pictures of any of them?
Yeah, I did. And that was, awesome. I think that's another great thing, is that like we're encouraged to document the whole process. You know, a lot of documenting them is seeing them working very hard. Like they got to build it and take it down and be there the whole day and run cameras and do all those things. And like, I think that everyone's like super appreciated, and it made me like so happy to be a part of like this kind of tour family. But it also made me realize that I only want to tour at this high level where everyone is like, has a role and is respected and has a job, and like you know, like all of those things are like the tour, like the person that ran like tour production, like she's just like an angel. Like she just cared, you know, and it's like everyone kind of creates a family and cares about each other. But I think that you don't see those people, so you don't even know how hard they're working.
Yeah.
And they're like really cool jobs. Like these are really cool jobs that people just don't even think about doing.
I think one thing that we're really proud of when it comes to this podcast of almost 4 years is that we've heavily dived into the back of the
behind the scenes stories.
behind the scenes people, which is it's super important to us. And I don't know, and you tell me if you feel the same way, I don't know that we found a nicer person than Yvette Noel Shore.
Oh my God, she's like a guardian angel. She was like an angel on earth. I just wrote that on her Instagram today. I was like, she makes like every single room she's in feel like home. She makes everyone feel like they matter, and she was always like so supportive of like getting my stuff in like AP and press and like in like physical prints, like, and it's like you're away from home, you know, and she's like a mom, like make sure you drink your smoothie, like drink your juice, like she's like the person that's gonna hug you and like tell you like don't cry if you're having a bad day. So like I'm super appreciative of her. I thought it was so cool that she did this, because I was like, you know, she's like such a mastermind, and like to do what she does for so long and like to do it so gracefully is like really important.
It is.
And she like really cares about women and women of color and like pushing their narratives and their stories. And that's just so important to me. So I always like, I'm indebted to her. And Jana.
Yeah.
Another one that's just like, I feel like there's so many people, like that's the thing about why I don't talk about like success, because there's so many working parts to like being successful. And like, I'm pretty blessed that I have all these people in my life that like support me and like want me to do well and like will push it. So I feel like for me, it's like protecting that space too for them.
What is the best way to kill time when you're waiting around for like 12 hours at a stadium?
Depends the stadium, because some stadiums, like sometimes the catering was really good, so I would just stay in catering. I feel like because I worked with like such a good fun group, we would just hang out and like we'd work on stuff we had to work on, or we'd talk, or like we would like one day we did just like a pickle tasting test because Ben got a bunch of pickles on the bus.
Ben Haggerty?
Yeah, he had like
Macklemore.
Yeah, he had a bunch of pickles shipped to wherever we were. So
sure, that's such a Macklemore move.
Yeah. We did like pickle tasting, but we would just spend time together. I think in Europe we would be out and then come. But yeah, you just kind of you mentally prepare yourself. We'd shoot the opening acts. We'd watch the opening acts. Like, you know, Khaled was always bringing someone out in the U.S. And then you just like get ready because your work is like that day, and then all like at night after you have to edit after. So.
And you edit in?
Photoshop, Lightroom, both. I mean, I think for like mass editing, Lightroom is just easier. And like once you know a show and colors, you can like make your own presets that work for it and like try different things.
And how many photos do you think you took in a day?
I was taking like 4,000 raw photos a night that I would go through.
And then you have to go through those yourself.
Yeah, like I would make like a wide edit, like a wide select, and then like they make their wide selects and like all that stuff. But I would like go through the 4,000 obviously and pick the ones that were like my favorite or that I thought were like the best.
And you have like 1 million hard drives or what?
Yeah, I do. And I double up.
Well, are you good at organization?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes folders say like Monday night house, and I have to remember what it is. I honestly should spend this
Even
time.
now?
Yeah, I honestly should spend like 2 days like organizing all my work.
Yeah, because what happens if you're like, oh, I really want that one shot, and you're just like, who the hell knows where it is?
There's a little organization. Like I'm not terrible.
You don't have your own system where it's just like, I know where that sock is like, in the corner of my room.
System, but if you looked at it, you probably wouldn't be able to figure it out. But me, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember exactly like where it is.
Yeah.
But because I have to like revamp my site and like actually put it back up, I probably should go through all my hard drives and like pick the photos I want, but I'm too busy not doing anything.
How would you do with an intern?
I would love an intern. I think I'm in a space where I'm trying to figure out what is my business as like my own boss.
Sure. Yeah. Well, real quick.
And like, I don't know.
We visited you. I won't mention where it was for the interest of those named, but there was a brand that put you in a space and allowed you to take pictures of all of your friends. And we were some of those friends who showed up, and you took the pictures, and you had a quote unquote intern working with you, and that quote unquote intern did nothing. So is that what you want?
Well, that was like more like a photo assistant, which for like shoots you do like I have to now at this point hire one, which they're like a gift because they literally make it so that I only have to take a picture. But I think for me, I'd want an intern that's like only like loves organization. Like that's what they love to do. I think when people hire assistants or in any fields, right? Everybody wants to grow. So I'm not saying that they won't grow, but at the moment, that's what I want them to be passionate about.
Right.
I don't want you to want to like be a photographer or like do those things. Like I do want to meet people like that and like be able to hire them, which is what I do now. Like I'll hire assistants to help me shoot events. But when it comes to like an intern, I want them to just love organization because that's what I feel like is lacking.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I know, which is why I won't hire one.
Well, no,
or find one.
All these kids, they reach out to us and they're like, oh my God, I love you guys. Can I be your intern? And it's like, well, I don't know what you would do, especially like, I don't know your skills. All you say that you like to do is you listen to our podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, our brother Dan, when he worked for the Yankees, for instance, all these people would be like, hey, I really want a job. And Dan would be like, cool, what do you want to do? And they're like, I want to be general manager. He's like, well, you're not getting into sales where I work, you know? So it's like, know what you want and then grow into that.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I've learned so far is that be really good at one thing and then the door to do other things will open automatically. Like if I see that you're really good at organization and you're really good with this and then I
you
might
could be
need
the
something-
intern.
Then no, but then if I need, then I can teach you how to do something else and then you can do something else and then so on and so forth. But I think like I want to create this creative team, but I want everybody to be good at what they're good at in their own right, you know? Like I can't teach you how to be me, but I can help you be the best version of you.
When you were growing up, when did you first get some sort of creative bug that you were like, you know what? I want to do something that's not maybe a traditional 9 to 5. I just enjoyed this so much that I, want to keep doing it.
My guess is it's when Raven was on stage for those 6 years.
Doing drama?
Yeah.
I'm going to send
Causing
you guys,
drama.
I'm going to show you guys a photo of me in a wig at like 10. It's so ugly. Well, I think theater helped me open up because I was really shy and I still am pretty shy depending on like where I am. Like I'm not introverted, but I'm not necessarily going to jump out and like be the life of the party per se.
Ben Haggerty, right? Yeah.
Ben Haggerty or Chris Styles.
Yeah,
I'm not a Chris Styles or like a Crystal Anrod. Shout out to my friends, but I am like on the sideline. Yeah, like do it. But it helped me open up and like be a little less shy, be a little more comfortable being in the spotlight. But I don't think I really knew I didn't want to have like a 9 to 5 until like my 20s.
When you had a 9 to 5.
Yeah, because even now, like I eventually would like to have like my own creative agency, which isn't a 9 to 5, but it will probably be like a 9 to 11.
Yeah.
Whatever time. Like working for yourself, you're either never working or you're always working. Like you aren't because like there's no structure sometimes, which is why like I feel like creatives we're always trying to find structure. Like we're always trying to like. We're still so caught up on 9 to 5s that we try and like set our lives like that, which is why I've learned like it might not be possible. Like that just might not be.
Oh, for
me.
sure. Well, this is why I was really proud of you that you take vacations.
Oh, I love vacations.
Well, no, that's real. Like I hadn't had a vacation in 10 years, right? Until I went with my brothers and we went to the Southwest and went hiking around all these
that sounds
canyons and
that
stuff.
sounds like hell to me.
Let me tell you.
Really? You love the outdoors.
It was
No,
awesome.
I don't. To find outdoors. I hate hiking.
But as guys who like work all the time, like to be able to like I can certainly appreciate the fact where it's like, no, I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to escape.
And I think for me, vacations serve as like places for me to gain inspiration. Like I like to like travel because I feel like that's opens up my mind to like what else I should be shooting or seeing or like it's like to me like watching a movie. It's like the same thing. You're just like in the movie, you're live.
Well, where's your favorite place that you have traveled?
I don't know. I have a few. Like I really, really loved going to Aruba this last time. I felt like me and Mike were like an old couple and everybody there was old.
Oh, that's, yeah, you're
so
amongst your...
Like
yeah.
everyone was old. There was like 5 young people. It was so crazy because like we would be sitting eating and everybody around us was playing bingo. And I was like kind of jealous that I wasn't playing bingo, but I didn't want to tell Mike that I wanted to play, so I just like played it off.
Yeah.
But
well, now he knows.
Now he knows. But it was like really relaxing, and it was like so beautiful. And I felt like I took so many photos over there that I've like printed for my house, and like I want to print for other people. So Aruba was nice. Hawaii was amazing, but we went on a hike and I was miserable.
Not happy, yeah.
And I was like on Instagram and Miguel was there at the same time, and I felt like I wanted to do everything Miguel was doing, and he was doing all this adventurous stuff.
Yeah. And
I didn't want to, but the only hike we did do, we saw him on the hike, and I was like, oh my God, this is like so crazy.
Did you say hi?
No.
Oh, what?
No, but I was just like, man, I was like, on
I
your
know you from Instagram.
I was like, I'm literally doing the same things as you. But I'm not that adventurous. So I think that's another goal, like maybe to like do more adventurous things. Like I flew a plane this year.
I know, I saw that.
That was a big deal because I don't have a driver's license.
Wait, so okay. So there's a lot there. How did you decide to fly a plane?
It was an Airbnb experience. I thought it was really cool. Like Airbnb, they do these experiences. This is not a sponsored thing.
No. But all I know about Airbnb is like, you know.
You can rent a house.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah.
so they have.
Well, we always rent weird apartments.
Really?
Not
Yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah, no, it's like every single place has like something weird about it. Like it's either haunted or like the shower head is like, 2 feet too low.
You have to
or, like,
read all the reviews.
Wait,
Oh, no,
did
I
you get
read
a
reviews.
did you get an airplane that didn't have wings?
No, but it was very small. But there are all these experiences they provide. So like in every city, so you can make pasta for like $30, or you could fly a plane for $150. So you can do all these things
Here?
everywhere. Like here, you could probably fly a helicopter.
Right, that seems safe.
Yeah.
Like no, so it was like me. I was like, okay, me and Mike and the instructor. But the plane was so small at first, and I was like, it's so weird thinking back on it because I don't even want to get in a car. Like I refuse to like get my driver's license because I'm scared to be on the road.
Well, why are you afraid to like drive?
One, road rage.
Sure. Oh,
Your own or someone else's?
My own.
Okay.
Yeah.
2, I feel like people like I don't really like to drive fast. Like I wouldn't want to drive fast, so I feel like
So,
I'd be a slow, cautious driver.
A 15 mile per hour like school zone.
Yeah, and those are the people that get into accidents because they're like driving too slow.
Right.
Right.
And then they get road rage.
Yes.
So how did your mom feel about this when you were like 16 and she was like, I'm tired of driving you?
Well, she just never encouraged me to drive, I guess. And we live in New York City. We live in the Bronx, so
Sure.
it's like we didn't really. My mom is always like, I've been driving since I was 16. How do you not know how to drive?
Oh, wait,
Or
what age was your mom when she stole a truck?
13.
Okay.
Tractor.
So
truck.
then, yeah. So
So
technically,
it's not
she's been driving.
genetics.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also was a swim instructor, and I'm a terrible swimmer. Something is off.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that John Legend just started swimming.
Well,
at
I'm
40,
gonna.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be me because I'm
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna take swimming lessons this year, and I'm gonna take driving lessons. And
Great.
And so you flew.
The plane.
What was the scariest part? What was the part that you were like, oh, I got this?
The scariest part is landing because it's so. And I'm sure the instructor is definitely guiding this. Like I wasn't just flying it by myself.
Right.
But because the plane is so small, it's like you feel yourself landing. And because I hate roller coasters, I was like, whoa, this is a little intense.
Wait, you hate what part of this did you think you were going to enjoy?
The Instagram post saying I flew a plane.
Yeah.
I am like a really.
You should have made it a happy birthday post.
I am like such an extreme. Think about it. Like I hate the gym, right?
Yeah.
I have like a recreational room in my building, and I have a gym membership. I barely go.
Right.
This week, I decided to go with my friend at 6 a.m. Now
Yeah, I
love.
saw that, by the way.
Yeah, but now I'm like loving it.
6 a.m.
Oh, you found
workouts?
your time.
Yeah, because it's like, do you watch The Office?
Yeah.
Okay,
we
so you
watch
know
The
how like
Office.
Michael like will like wake.
There's a Dwight bobblehead behind you.
Mike will like wake up in the morning, make bacon, go to sleep, so he smells the bacon.
Yes.
So I'll like wake up on like 4 hours of sleep, go to the gym, get home, go back to sleep.
Sure.
Wake up and feel skinny because I went to the gym. Then not have to worry about it for the rest of the day. It's brilliant for
Yeah,
me.
but you're also leaving out the fact that Michael Scott stepped on his George Foreman grill.
Right.
And I'm oversleeping. So it's like both. It's like
okay.
the same parallel, but I I am like just an extremist. As you, like, I feel like my career is like extreme, and then like the things I like to do are like so extreme. Like I don't want to drive, but I want to fly a plane.
So
like,
never,
I don't want to, eat sugar. I just want to do cocaine.
So you flew a plane this year. That's pretty.
I don't do cocaine. I've never done it.
Dramatic.
Dramatic, Jeff.
You flew a plane this year. You have toured around the world.
And I never been out of the United States, so that was my first time in Europe.
What was it like getting a passport?
I had a passport. I mean, I went to like Jamaica, so yeah, I had, but I'd never gone to like, Europe, Asia, Africa.
So when you went to South Africa, how was that flight?
Okay, honestly, it was, again, not bad. Like
because you were in control, you were the one flying the plane.
I was like asleep for 9 hours of it. Both
wow,
ways.
what? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're
Did
great.
you take
with
something?
Yeah.
I took a little sleeping pill.
Yeah, just a 9-hour one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like.
Did you work out right beforehand?
No, but I watched, like, I was binging Jane the Virgin at the time.
Uh-huh.
So I would, like, for the first half of the flight, I'd watch stuff till I got tired, and then I would eat, and then I would just sleep the rest of it.
That's got to be so crazy waking up after, like, I don't know, relaxing sleep and just you're still on a plane.
Yeah, but both times it was landing.
Wow.
I'm like, I timed it. So I was like, if I can sleep, I'll sleep and I'll be tired and I'll wake up and it'll be like landing.
That's
it wasn't
perfect.
bad at all.
That's the longest flight you've ever done.
And that's probably why I've never been to like Asia, because I wanted to go to like Bali, and I've thought about going to like Japan, but I was like, man, that's so long. Like Australia is so long, but 17 hours, it's...
Yeah, if you can do that,
Yeah.
I guess you're good,
You can
right?
do
It's shorter to Australia.
Well, it's 6 to LA.
Yeah.
And then how long? It's almost 24 hours, isn't it?
I think
like,
so.
I think it's
something
like
that.
12 hours to Australia from LA.
No. It's got to be longer than that.
Pretty sure.
No. We should Google it.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Or leave a comment. Who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't-
Yeah, let us know how far it is from New York City to Australia.
So when you made it down to South Africa, though, you were around like real animals.
Yeah, but I just read on my comments that like that wasn't the place I should go. So now I don't know. But yeah, I went to
Don't listen to comments.
I went to a petting, like I guess like a safari. Like
Yeah.
we all went as a group.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to like pet the lions, we pet a cheetah. We did like a safari drive where we saw lions and all these other animals.
Like up close.
Like very up close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And now I've just been reading that they're not necessarily like the best places for animals. So
Oh.
I'm sorry.
But
it was like,
what an experience.
well, yeah, it was like super crazy.
You didn't do anything like stupid for a picture with a
No,
animal,
I-
did you?
Like put
I
your
was-
head in its
No,
mouth.
I was like very scared to even like pet a lion.
Right.
Like I was kind of like, but it's kind of like petting my cat, Boo. They're like they're very similar.
I do not think that they're similar.
They are. If you've met my cat, you know that they're very similar.
Vicious?
Yes, sometimes. And
Even to you?
she just is like an old woman. She's 15.
Is she from Aruba?
She honestly, she should be in a. She acts like she should be in Aruba.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she's just old and like she's really loud. Like like an old person that wakes up and is just like complaining. Like she's like that in cat form. Like she's complaining all day long. Like me being home, I'm like, wow, my cat will not shut up. All she does is meow all day long. But
Yeah.
she's also on a diet, so I think she's not really happy and a little hungry.
Well, I'm going to guess the cat is not making the choice behind the diet.
Yeah.
No, she was a little unhealthy, so we put her on a diet. But
She
now
was a fat
she's
cat.
well, not anymore. Now she's living her best life, as
Oh,
you
great.
guys have seen.
Does she go to
Yeah,
the
she
gym
just
at
wasn't
6
happy
o'clock in
about
the
it.
morning?
She's up at 5 a.m. running around. We got her some toys, so I think she's like out of her like fat depression. She seems like she's in a better space.
Oh, congratulations to...
So I have to tell you guys.
Yes.
Because I've been waiting.
Yes.
So you guys see what I like to eat. I'm a foodie.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And 80% of what I eat is seafood a lot of times. I'm like a big shrimp person.
Shout out to
Shout out
City
to
Island.
Benihana.
Yeah.
There you go, right? Okay, so fast forward, like rewind. 4 days ago, I was making fun of a friend of mine because he has a shrimp allergy, and when he goes to Benihana's, he says like, I'm allergic, and I feel like those people shouldn't go to Benihana's because then the chef has to cook everybody else's meal first
And
before
then-
they can make the little shrimp. But you like to have the shrimp as an appetizer, so you're waiting for this hibachi shrimp, and it's like taking forever.
You were shrimp shaming him.
Completely. Like you can literally go back a few days on my
Seinfeld.
timeline. Right? So I've been sick. I went to the doctor. They're like, we're going to give you a blood test. We'll give you an allergy test. Wait. So I'm like, okay, I'm like not allergic to anything ever. So yesterday I went back and they're like, okay, well, you have like a minor allergy to pollen, which I feel like everybody does.
Yep.
And he was like, you have a minor food allergy. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, you're allergic to shrimp.
No.
And I just started laughing like a psycho. Like, you know the little gif of the little boy that he's laughing and then he starts to cry?
Yeah.
I was laughing like a psychopath.
What in the world are you going to do?
Well, I was like, define minor. Like, should I not eat it? And he was like, well, you probably get an upset stomach sometimes if you ever noticed. And I was like, yeah, but I thought like it was from like dairy or anything else I was eating.
Oh.
I eat shrimp like excessively.
You are done.
So that, no. No. I'll take a Benadryl before I start eating shrimp. So I was like, well, like, should I not eat it? He was like, no, but like.
It just takes a year off your life every time.
Yeah.
He's like, it could get better or it could get worse. You could have created it from eating it so much or it could go away.
This is a strange doctor, by the way.
So I was like, okay. So I was just like, what kind of sick joke is this? Like,
By God?
yeah, like, why would you make me allergic to the only thing I truly enjoy? Right. That's like making me allergic to cameras, making me legally blind.
Right.
Why would you even do that?
I'm so sorry for
Yeah.
you.
Right?
I'm sorry
Yeah.
for your loss.
But
Yeah.
if the guy who I was shaming listens to me, I still stand by it.
Oh my
Like,
God.
If I get sick from eating shrimp, I obviously will stop eating it, but I also won't go to Benihana's.
Right, you
That's
will-
just like the rule.
Yeah,
You
you're-
wouldn't just go for the smoking
No.
like onion
Onions?
tower?
No, because I don't think it's fair.
Wow.
Are you going to switch up to like
don't think it's
steak or chicken or something?
Well, I guess I'm gonna eat more chicken, but I'm just like, this is just so miserable.
That
to me.
really-
I can eat the other, like I could still eat crab and lobster.
What'd your
so-
mom say?
She laughed and said it's my fault. I called her like, you're not gonna believe this. Like, I'm allergic to shrimp, and she was like, it makes sense. You eat so much of it.
That's nuts.
Because I kept telling her that I thought I was allergic to milk, and my mom is like really frustrated by like the internet and like how everyone's allergic to everything now. There's all these
today's
issues,
day and
right?
age, yeah.
Because like my friends will come over and they always are trying to tell my mom like new things, and she's just very adamant about that not being true. So my friend was there the other day, like, oh, you know, like adults are not supposed to drink milk. Da 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 da. And I was like, that's not true. And I was
By
like,
the way, that's a very good Lee impression.
Yeah, it was great.
I sound like her a lot, more often than I think I do. But she was just she was like, you're not allergic to milk, and I was like, doctor, am I allergic to milk? He was like, no, just
Your mom
just
was right. Yeah.
She was right, and that's what she kept saying. Like,
Yeah.
I was right.
Yep.
And this is your fault.
Yeah. That's terrible. Damn. Or you could be adventurous this year and eat your fair share of shrimp.
I'm gonna only eat it when I really want it, or like when it's like something like when it's do or die.
Yeah. Yeah. Die.
Knock on wood.
Does this affect the apps that you play, which are all about making food?
Okay, you guys are gonna be very surprised. I have stopped playing cooking games.
Why?
One, I just felt like I was wasting a lot of money on them, as I told you guys last
Yes,
time I was
thousands
here.
of dollars.
Yeah.
Which I really feel like if you haven't heard my first podcast, you should listen to it.
Wow, that's
Definitely.
a good ad.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you should listen to this one to see the growth.
Yeah.
So
By the way, we can use that on any podcast that we
Yeah,
put out.
yeah.
Like we can be like Raven saying like, I feel like you should listen to my podcast or this one, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
you should.
Yeah.
You should listen to them all, but that's just my only plug of the day.
Yes.
But I have a Nintendo Switch. So I like to play on there, Super Smash Bros. Or now I downloaded Tetris, which was free.
Love Tetris.
Wait, you're playing against 99 people though.
Whoa.
And
So it's like Fortnite Tetris.
kind of, and you can send like when you make a line, you can send that line to
Someone else?
Someone else.
Little
and they can, like,
sabotage?
KO. Yeah, so you're like trying to sabotage the other 99 people.
By sending lines to people, and you said you didn't do
Cocaine, right?
Again with
So,
the cocaine
I
joke.
know.
Hey guys, it's Jeff and Eric here from the podcast that you're listening to.
Hello.
And boy, do we have something special for you today. It's something that's actually been special for the past 2 months.
Tell me more.
We've got mugs, mean mugs,
What?
for sale. You can buy mean mugs. Go to itsthereal.com/shop and get your mean mug today.
Okay, say I did that, Jeff. Say I went to itsthereal.com/shop and I ordered a mean mug and the mean mug showed up on my doorstep. What in the world would I do with it?
You would probably put it back on the shelf because that's where it came from. We sell them from our apartment.
Oh, well. Fair.
Yep.
What if I was someone
Point
else?
Jeff. Okay.
What if I was someone else?
Who broke into our apartment.
What if I was someone else who ordered that mug and it showed up in my mailbox? What would I do with that mug?
Our mailbox here, you would put it back on the shelf. We're selling mugs from our apartment.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Who's on first?
Jeff has no imagination. Go buy a mean mug right now. itsthereal.com/shop. And tell us what you want to do with it.
Yeah. Actually, why don't you send it to us?
Yeah. A little present.
Yeah. So buy a mug, put our address on it. We'll take it back.
itsthereal.com/shop. We were talking about game night before we started recording, and you have certain rules about game night.
That I think everyone should follow.
You should have how many people on a game night?
No more than 10, realistically 8.
Okay, and the types of games that you want to play.
I definitely want to play Taboo to open it up because
Okay.
if you don't know each other, it's a good way to figure out who are the strong people in your team,
Right.
and who are the weaker people in your team.
Right. You will also take Pictionary.
Pictionary, Telestrations.
But what is the difference between taboo and catchphrase, besides the fact that catchphrase has a different,
Isn't
mechanism?
catchphrase where you put it in the box though?
No.
Oh no, that's gestures.
Catchphrase. Catchphrase is the electronic one that you pass around and have to, take a
Taboo
clue.
has the
No, because Taboo has all the elements of like a game night. Like you gotta you're like nervous, you're flipping the cards, people
Yeah.
can't read,
Right.
you have the buzzer, you have someone has to keep track of time,
Timer,
someone has to
yep.
keep track of score.
Yep.
You need all those
So
things.
you want to do a regular game night with regular friends, right? Like you want the same people to come through?
Well, yes and no. Like I also like to really play Heads Up. We were just playing Heads Up like 2 nights ago in a bar randomly.
Yep.
I feel like game nights are a good way to feel like people out.
Okay.
So like I like going to other people's game nights because I think when you're like playing with your close friends after a while, you know each other, so you can just say things or guess things. But if I don't know you,
Right.
I can get a good feel of how smart you are with games.
Here's what I don't like about Heads Up: that it doesn't always catch like when the thing is turned.
True, but you can watch the video after and then you can tally it. They also have a Game of Thrones Heads Up, which is like my favorite.
That's
thing.
like right in your wheelhouse.
That is just my life right
But
now.
as a Nintendo Switch user, can you play Nintendo Switch games?
Up to 4 people, I feel like, unless it's like Mario
Or 99
Kart.
people.
No, or 99 people. Mario Kart, you play 8. But again, I feel like you can't. People have like these game nights and it's like 15 people. I'm not subbing you, Della, if you're listening to this. But
Well, Della has ones with like 100 people.
exactly,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Then like 2 people are on the side playing Jenga. Like a couple people are playing Uno. But depending on your age with Uno, you have different rules.
What are your rules for Uno?
My rule is when you put a draw 4 down, you cannot put a draw 2 on top of it. The only thing,
So no stacking
you can only stack a draw 4 on a draw 4.
because they match.
Yeah, it's a wild. So that's the only thing you can put on top of it. You can't put a draw 2 on top of a draw 4.
Do you go over the rules beforehand?
Yeah, well, people like low key, because he doesn't know how to play and he thinks he knows how to play and he's always talking about Uno and he's terrible at it.
Not very smart.
He's terrible. I really want him to
You
know
can see how
this.
smart the person is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
when you write the little blurb, make sure you write, Raven discusses how low key is terrible at Uno.
And Angel will come in and
And
destroy you
yes,
in the comments. Yeah.
because he gets so mad playing. And then he's just so mad the whole game because he's losing. Like, all the time.
I once interviewed Jay-Z.
Did you?
Yeah, for Rolling Stone,
Okay.
where I talked about how he had played Jenga for the first time. And he said that I think he was good. I can't remember. So I'm wondering, have you played Jenga with Jay-Z?
No. But that should be on my bucket list. I'm just going to start carrying Jenga in my camera bag.
Yeah, for
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
Maybe I'll just pull it out, put it on the table.
Yep.
Like, oh, just take a photo here and then pull one out. And
Oh,
then,
what is this? Is this
is this meant to be?
where did this come from? This Jenga tower.
That's
That I
like
just
that
set
would
up.
be a crazy,
That would
Yeah.
be.
crazy story.
Do you do setups for like when you're taking photos with people?
Sometimes I feel like it'll be like a chair or things because a lot of times it's on the go, which is why, like I was telling you guys, I want to do more of my own passion projects so I can like have a full like set design and like come up with ideas. Because right now I feel like people think that I only want to do event or music photography, and that's not true.
When all you want to do is palm trees.
Honestly, I haven't taken a picture of a palm tree in a long time.
Damn.
Wow.
I've grown a lot.
Yeah. It's like that and shrimp just out.
Everything that I love.
Just
Cooking
done.
games,
Yeah.
shrimp, palm trees.
You need a clean start, right?
I am brand new.
Yeah. So when you have your pictures on T-shirts or sweatshirts, do they show you the design beforehand? And what is it like when you first get it and you hold it in your hands?
For the last one that I had on this tour, yeah, they showed it to me, but I didn't think it was gonna like they were like, oh, he wants to put this on a shirt, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then like I had seen it and I thought it was really cool, and then I just didn't know it was gonna happen. Like I just forgot, kind of, I guess, like working and you're moving, and then I was in Orlando. And I was walking by the merch table and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, that's my shirt. And I bought it. And then I bought it and then I was walking around showing everybody on the stage that it was mine before the show. And then after the show, like the tour manager came over and was like, hey, this is a gift. And I was like, oh man, I already bought one.
Can you refund the money?
And then I like I put up the link. And
That's so nice though.
Yeah, I mean, I think like those things that are tangible for me always like have a really special value. And I think like people are so caught up with like monetary gains in life, like especially with work, you want to be paid or all these things. And for me, like these little things sometimes that happen to me, I'm just like, they mean so much to me.
Well, I bet you look back at like all the gigs that you shot for free, coming up, that really laid the sort of foundation for you to be able to do these things that will pay you and pay off for you.
Yeah, I mean, mostly like 90% of the music stuff I did was free. Like if you saw me at shows, I wasn't working for those artists. I wasn't working for a publication. I was just shooting, and I didn't have a problem with it because it was something I loved to do. And I think that a lot of times people forget that. And they're like, well, I'm working, so I want to be paid. But I feel like that's part of the 10,000 hours of you working. You're like doing a lot of stuff for free, especially creatively.
And you did have a shitty job.
And I did have a shitty job, so I was kind of getting paid there.
Yeah. But it's that you have the shitty job, and then you do the after hours and go follow your passion then. Yeah,
because a lot of things take time to make money, right? So you see like all these people and they'll start a podcast and then they do like 10 or 12 episodes and they're like, okay, why don't I have any income? And you're like, man, you have to do a lot of episodes. You have to gain a lot of people before you have like any monetary value on it. Because like you have to build that brand and like have people trust you and want to pay for it. Like there's so many things you can get for free. Why would people just start paying for something unless they were like completely obsessed with it?
And also if you take one picture and go viral off that, it's like, well, how do you follow that up?
Yeah. And I think the idea of something being viral now is like, it's so easy, and to a degree it really doesn't mean anything because there are so many, we're all on the internet. Like it doesn't take any effort to retweet something.
Wow, you really do sound like Drake at the Grammys.
Really? Yeah. No, but it's
guys, it's really easy to go viral.
Right.
I think it's important.
And meanwhile, here you are chasing clout
right.
in Cardi's mention.
Yeah. No, but I think it's really, really easy to get caught up in things like numbers and likes and views and those things because that's how we're measuring success, right?
Yeah.
I have this conversation all the time about like music because back in the day, someone could sell like 1 million records, right? And nowadays, like you have all these artists and people like breaking records with streams, but it's way easier to stream something than it is to buy a record. So are we discrediting everyone? They should make a new measuring system to me for streams versus saying like, oh, this person broke this record. Like, okay, but in 1990, that wasn't the same equivalent as streaming music. Like anybody, you can stream music anywhere. I can listen to anything 1 million times. Like
right.
You couldn't just go like, people weren't just buying like people were buying tens and thousands of records. Like I bought 4 Backstreet Boy Black and Blue albums. Like
why?
Yeah, wait.
Because
what?
I was such a fan. But do you see what I'm saying? Like I bought 4 albums as a kid.
Yeah, but you also bought 2 hoodies.
Yeah, but I bought 4 albums versus like that to me is a little different than streaming a song.
Right. I think that the rules of fandom or whatever, it's much easier now, and so like the connections are much more shallow. You know, like,
but you're measuring people's success on the same system, which to me discredits the artist before it.
But I think that it's more of an issue of like longevity for now, right? Like how much longer are Lil so-and-so going to be around when all it is like, well, I don't have to click on them anymore, you know?
But does that matter? Like, does it matter? Do you need longevity if you can make a lot of money in a short amount of time, right? Like somebody else, it might have taken them a long time to see money between their like deal and marketing and selling records. And now you can come up, you can like be a bad baby and like you can blow up.
Yeah.
That's her name, right?
Yeah.
I was calling her Bad Barbie for a long time.
Well,
Yeah.
But yeah,
whatever.
like you can be young, like, I think people forget that like everybody has access to music now, and like there are 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds that can listen to one song like a million times.
Right.
Baby
And-
Shark.
Baby Shark.
Baby
Yeah,
Shark.
exactly.
Which people are playing in the club. That's weird. Don't do that. That's lame.
Yeah. I was going to go off on that, but keep going.
Yeah.
But I think a couple things. I think there should be a different measuring system, or that shouldn't matter. Like, I don't think that means that you're any less of an artist if you have more streams.
Well, I think it's the same thing with like followers, right? Like, and the one thing I agreed with Kanye this entire 2 years that he's been doing Kanye, the one thing I thought that he said that was right was that, on Twitter, we shouldn't go by followers. On Instagram, we shouldn't go by followers. Like, it shouldn't just be about likes and all this stuff. These metrics are wrong.
Right.
Like, they're damaging.
Officially, I said that too. So can we give him the credit instead of like Kanye?
No, I don't agree with officially ice on anything.
I'm sure I said that, but I haven't muted, so I haven't seen it. But then, okay, flip side, devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
If you say something, right, and you, Eric, are verified.
I am.
The people that follow you, their voice, we say, holds some merit, right?
They do.
And then, like, there's someone trolling you, and they say something, and they only have, they follow 10,000 people and have 2 followers. We still filter who we speak to based on their circles and who they know.
Correct.
So I think they're, like, it's a very, really, really blurry line.
Yeah.
Because I do think in life, everyone's opinion matters to them.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think that matters to me, per se.
Right. Our friend Alex, the bald guy, put something on Twitter saying that Fab's verse on Uptown Vibes isn't getting enough attention as it should. And then he followed that up by saying that Fab's verse on Uptown Vibes is the best thing he's done in 10 years or whatever. Best verse he's had in 10 years. And so I quote tweeted that and I said facts. Now, Alex was trolling. I was saying, like, in terms of importance and in terms of like it got him on SNL, in terms of like radio play, I think there's actually merit in that, right? People just
Went nuts.
threw me down on the street and
Yeah.
were like, I'm never going to listen to you for your opinion again, or your opinion doesn't matter, or whatever. And I'm just
Did
like,
they cancel you?
I think I got
Eric got
canceled.
canceled.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just like,
But-
I love Fab's music.
Yeah, but the thing that was crazy about the whole thing was that everybody who was so mad about it was like, "Oh, don't act like this wasn't 9 years ago," and they were pulling out like the soul
random-
tapes or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's like, yes, the soul tapes were great, and they were 9 years ago, and that does fall in the 10-year thing that we have come up to. But
But it's like, because I have a verified check next to my name, something that I wrote, just saying facts, quote tweeting another one of my friends, says everything about me in terms of my opinion and everything. And from there, it's over.
And it's weird because then it you have to be so mindful and like cautious because like you do interview people. It wasn't like said out of malice, right?
Right.
Or it doesn't negate that you might like a million of his songs, even if you don't think that they were super relevant or super impactful, right? But now it's like everything else doesn't matter because you said this tweet that no one is gonna remember in like 10 days, 10 minutes.
Right.
Like that's why I don't tweet about I can't tweet anything without someone telling me like, no, that's not true.
Right.
Like I bought a bath pillow and people were like, oh, no, you're not going to like it. And I was just like, it's just crazy sometimes.
So
well, that being said, I am most shocked by the fact that you bought something.
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I actually
Raven is the queen of influence.
Honestly, I wish because when I was moving, I had to buy all my furniture, and I really thought that having so many followers, I would have got some free
Right.
shit.
Somebody
I
would
was
be a
like-
carpenter.
I was like, I really have to buy a couch. Like, no one is going to send me a Casper mattress. Like, what, Ramya? Like, what do I have to do to get a free mattress?
By the way, Ramya, what does she have to do to get a free mattress?
Also, Ramya, I would like a free mattress as well.
Also, Ramya, please come back from Europe because I'm lost.
She's killing. Oh, wait, does she drive you everywhere?
No, but she's like my manager.
I know.
I like feel like I should. I feel like I should speak and see her every day.
She should be on the road with you.
She's just she does it all. She's
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, I was like, I do buy a lot of things, Jeff. Okay, and I think that's why I don't like the term influencer, but I do like that people trust my opinions because I don't really do like promotional stuff. Like I really support stuff that I really like or I've bought or I believe in. Now if stuff comes and I end up liking it, that's different.
How was the bath pillow?
Okay, so I used it yesterday.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortable, but made me tired. So I was like, okay, I'm tired. I'm falling asleep.
Wait, how do we know that it wasn't the gym that made you tired?
It could be both, but I don't like. I have to like not go to the
This
gym.
is like going to the allergenist.
Right. Yeah.
It could be milk or it could be shrimp.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like falling asleep, and I was like, what do I do? Like, should I try it again? Am I tired? Should I be falling asleep? Like, is that what the pillow is for?
Yeah.
And you want to know what?
Did
You'll
you give
figure it
into
out
it?
after you take a nap.
Yeah.
But I paid for it. I paid $30.
Just back to the tangible things. Does it mean more to you to have a physical print on a wall and have a physical garment that you can wear with your image on it than something on your Instagram?
It doesn't mean more, but I think it's an added on bonus for me.
Because people will steal your image from your Instagram.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they redo it. I'm sure there are I've seen like my photos on shirts at shows. It's like, I don't really care. It's not, if I didn't want people to use them and see them and print them out themselves, like I wouldn't put them up. You know what I'm saying? But there is another value that I get or a fulfillment I get from seeing it in print. I've like really been upset that I don't have a magazine cover yet. Like I'm very upset. I want everyone that listens to this podcast to know I'm so mad. So it's just like, okay, now I want to get a print because I want to see it. Like it doesn't make any sense to me why I haven't.
so this is the goal.
I wouldn't say it's the goal, but it's definitely one of like, it's on my bucket list of, okay, this has to happen this year.
What else do you want to do?
I want like a billboard that's there for a few months. So that I guess would come from campaigns. And it's like, it's weird because we never know, like you look at a campaign, you normally don't know who shot it. Like sometimes in magazine covers, you don't know who shot it unless you look in it. Like it's not about the name. I think that's where it comes about it being tangible for me and me being able to like see it or like come to your house and it's like there because you can always like look back at it. And I still feel like people put importance on it. Like I still feel like there's a different level of respect for someone that's shooting covers versus someone that's not.
Well, how do you turn editorial? Like how does that happen? I honestly, from like I just don't know.
I think it comes from me doing a lot more of my own personal projects and people just being like, because I think when you're in these rooms and you're hiring someone for a cover, you say something like, oh, I saw this photo of a girl in a blue room and this photographer shoots everyone in a blue room. This would look really cool. So let's hire them versus like, oh, I don't think people really know my talents. Sometimes I don't think I know my talents, which is why I'm trying to figure it out. So I think that it's hard for me to like package what I do because I'm not really showing you like what I do. But like if you know me, you know I can do anything.
Yes.
Yeah, but like obviously there are editors and there are people who work in all these companies who follow you on Instagram.
But I feel like if you follow me on Instagram, you would think that like I'm a tour photographer, a lifestyle photographer, and then like an event photographer.
Well, so does that like seep into your experience out there in those stadiums where you're like, I'm going to do a little something different and this is going to show off what I want to project?
Yeah, I think that's really important to me, like getting those moments. And also I think I try to project that even in like tour photography.
So what's one of the photographs that you can like think of right now where you were like, you know what, that was what I wanted to do? I got the ISO right. I got the, the
I think the
depth
photo,
of field.
I think the photo I took of Jay in the purple suit in South Africa, because I like got the clear chair, I put it in front of the curtain. I was like, this is how I envision it. Like him sitting in this chair where it could be an editorial if I wanted it to be. Like it could be in a magazine and be like the opening shot. So I think things like that for me have been really important. And now moving forward in the next few months, it's like, okay, I just want to work. Like if you're a model and or you're a producer or you're a set designer, like these are the people I feel like I need to meet.
And interns.
But like if you are someone that like designs sets, or you're a stylist, or you're someone I can build off of, or like be my muse, I want to like work with people like that, because I feel like I want to just start cranking out photos. Not necessarily for likes, but just so that I can get them out on paper, and then maybe that can translate to more editorial work.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes from just doing the work, and then you figure out who you are and what your vision is.
And then it's like really crazy too, because when we talk about like tangible things, like you go to a museum sometimes, or you'll go to like a photography museum, and like the photos can be they're so simple, right? It's like a mother and son like walking in the streets of New York in 1980, but it's like all the other factors about it, like that it's in print, that it's on a wall in a museum, like all those things make the photo important. Like that photo could have been on Instagram now and gotten like 2 likes.
Right.
So that's why I think that things that are tangible are like a little more important to me, because
This is what you should explain to your friends who complain about the birthday posts.
they better listen to this podcast, because I am through and I'm not even going to care anymore. I'm doing one per person.
Are you gonna start doing like happy birthday posts, but it's only pictures of you looking right?
I might just start saying, I
Like
might
it's like
just
you
start
solo?
doing selfies of
Yeah.
me and saying happy birthday.
That's what I'm saying.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'll do. No more of like the old photo of us, the drunk video on Snapchat. Just photos of me
Yep.
saying happy birthday, because I was so upset about the argument.
Does everybody in 2019 believe themselves to be like model worthy?
Yes, I think to a degree, but I think rightfully so, because I don't think that a model is only someone that's like 120 pounds, 5'11". Like, I don't agree with that.
Right. The only other acceptable size is 6'3", 165.
I think that I just think your subject, like a photo can be so cool if you, like, if the subject themselves is like into it. And like, I think the other factors are so important, like what they're wearing, where it's at, like the lighting, like all those things matter to me so much more sometimes than like who the person is. Like we could make Jeff look really cool.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, what?
Eric is already like, Eric's like the cool one.
Wow. Okay. Have you seen me dance?
I have, as I've said on Instagram. But Eric's, if you guys are like hot and cold, well, that's not a good idea.
Yeah. Wait.
Let me
No.
think,
Keep going with this great idea.
No, I feel
Tell
like
me how
Eric
cold I
is
am.
Positive and negative.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've always looked at like you're like the nice one, and Eric is like the outspoken, cool one. But that might not be true.
I also think Eric's the nice one.
I do think of myself
I
as
thought
nice.
you were the nice one.
No.
And at first I was like, oh, Eric is definitely like the outspoken one.
No,
then I started
I'm-
to realize that Eric is the one that writes all the nice comments
Yeah.
and remembers everything,
That
and
is-
you're the shady one.
That is
Yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
that is
but
the
I
secret.
used to think it was the opposite.
Yeah. No. I'm like.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I sent you a birthday text or something
I
like
was
that.
like,
and you're
oh my God.
Thank you,
Eric
Jeff.
Is
Yeah.
Eric is the nice one.
We used to. So our friend Marcia, she had us both on text. And she was like, wow, like, Jeff doesn't really speak as much in person, but maybe he's like really vocal and like really like emotional on text.
Yeah.
Turns out she had Eric saved as Jeff.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Eric-
called her one time and she was like, why are you calling from Jeff's phone? I was like, what?
For
What?
so long.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and then like in the last year or so, I was like, Eric is like the nice one that's nice and sends nice messages, remembers things.
Sure.
You're not. You probably don't remember anything. He's probably reminding you of all these things.
No, you know what's crazy is that I haven't been on Facebook for a year, and Jeff is still on Facebook occasionally, and he sees the birthdays, so I rely on Jeff to be like, send a birthday text in the group text.
Yeah, but I say happy birthday, and then like
And
Eric writes like
list
a
the
3
song.
paragraphs about how much they mean to him.
Okay, do we have time to talk about like,
We have all the time in the
okay,
world.
cool.
Yeah.
Can we talk about your other podcast with like the locks?
Yeah.
Sure.
That you guys like rate movies?
By the way, we have other ones that we're not going to talk about, but we'll tell you afterwards too.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is like the most brilliant idea ever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you ever have a guest and need someone to watch a movie with,
You want to watch a movie with us?
yes.
Okay.
I want to. I don't. You guys did Coco,
We did Coco. Yep.
which was my favorite.
Well,
Great.
so what kind of movies are your like purview?
Well, I feel like with them, I'd want to see them either do like kid movies,
Sure.
right, or like A Star Is Born.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to watch The Green Book.
I have to watch The Green Book anyway, but
Yeah, like there's going to be a lot of conflicting opinions, I think, on that. I bet that like I bet that somehow Styles is gonna like it.
Oh, I thought that Sheik would like it.
I think that Styles is definitely gonna like it, and I think that Sheik would not like it.
Do you guys feel like you learn so much about people based on like the movies they like?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I learned that Sheik has the worst movie taste on the planet
Like
Earth.
Mike has never seen The Notebook.
I've never seen The Notebook, but did you see that?
God, this is so. But then he's like, Raven, like, think about when The Notebook came out, my age. Why would I have watched it? But in my head, I feel like for pop culture, everyone should have seen that movie.
Well, would you watch it together? Have you tried to watch it together?
I just got him to start Game of Thrones. He's on season 3.
Wait, so what does Mike watch?
He watches.
Hold on. Wait, can I guess?
Guess.
Does he watch? Like, I'm trying to think of something like Way Left or
No.
No?
It's very on brand. He watches the same 4 black sitcoms
Yeah.
every day.
Okay.
Oh, Martin.
Martin,
Yeah.
Fresh Prince,
Yeah.
which he also has on his phone.
Okay.
Wayne's World, Wayne's Brothers. I'm sorry.
Wayne's brother.
Wrong show. Wayne's Brothers. And then he'll watch like In Living Color. In Living Color.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes, but really.
By the way, Wayne's World would have been such a
no,
good.
that would
yeah.
have been off. Yeah, that would have been off brand.
Or
But
also,
Wayne's
like-
Brothers,
No,
Wayne
I'm
and
saying
Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damon Wayans
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
World.
show?
Yeah,
Or-
it would have been a good In Living Color sketch.
Wayno's World.
Wow. Okay.
I'd watch Wayne's World.
I know what you're saying.
He's one of the funniest people to me on Twitter because he's always subbing everyone.
Yo,
Yeah.
he's been
Brilliant.
killing it lately.
It's brilliant.
Like, I really think he just like doesn't give a fuck anymore.
That's
He's just,
why I
like-
enjoy it.
It's great.
Because he's, for me, like, really quick, he's just someone I feel like has always been really genuine.
Oh, totally.
And, like, he's been in these rooms and these spaces for so long that it's like, you can't discredit him because he actually probably knows what he's talking about. He's been around it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's always people that are not in those rooms talking about things. But when you're someone that's been in it, you're a little more discreet, but you know that he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But back to Mike, he only watches 3 shows. And we've watched them all already in general. Like growing up, I've seen all these episodes of Martin and Fresh Prince, but we still will religiously watch them.
Yeah.
So when I got him to watch...
Living Single, and it was like a little further left.
Yeah.
No,
little
I don't.
stretch.
I'm like, I've seen that, but
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, I was like, everyone around him had watched it at this point. I was like, you're the only person left, and like, so I was like really excited. Now he's on season 3.
Yeah.
When I watch episodes with him, he doesn't give me the reaction I need, which I also understand is probably because I've already seen it, so
Yeah.
I know why.
But
it's
also,
important.
first season is like whatever.
He's on season 3.
Yeah.
I know, but like, so season two, is he liking it or is he like slogging
Yeah,
through
he's
it?
liking it. Like, but like when Ned was killed, he said that.
Well, spoiler alert.
yeah.
I mean, everyone should have already seen this.
Yeah, we've all seen it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't, like,
Right.
then
Yeah.
you shouldn't even watch
Right.
it now.
Yeah.
But he said that I was sniffling next to him, so that made him know that it was like really over because I just started to cry again.
Right.
But now I can't retweet like all the season 8 stuff because he
hasn't seen it
He hasn't
yet.
seen it, and I don't want to ruin it for him. So
Right.
I have to not tweet about it.
Or you could block him.
He doesn't, but he just goes on my Twitter from like a public thing because he doesn't tweet. He just reads it. So I'm like, I can't post like, photos of Bran or anything. It's
Right.
like,
But also, are you watching him watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
a little
rewatching
difficult.
it.
You want him to share that emotion that you have
yes.
in that moment.
All
Did
the
you
time.
see that the Notebook re-edited the ending
What?
in Britain?
Apparently not.
And so like I didn't know that the ending was that they fast forward 1,000,000 years, but apparently like that part's gone.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it made like big news this week.
What?
I didn't see that
Yeah.
in the news.
Anyways, the fact that he just hasn't seen that or that you haven't seen it and you are a movie critic to me is like kind of weird.
Oh, Jeff?
Wow,
Oh.
this is just like the Fab thing all over again.
Yeah, yeah,
How can
yeah.
you
I
trust my
don't think
opinion?
I can trust any opinion you have because you haven't seen it.
There you go. What is something that you and Mike connect on that you think would be like the last thing you would connect on?
I don't know. We always are we don't disagree, but I feel like what do we connect on? I mean,
Shrimp.
Yeah.
he's
That's out now.
Well, now I don't have to keep making him shrimp scampi as my go-to meal. I can try something else. I'm like, shrimp scampi again?
Yeah.
Krabby Crab again?
By the way, that's really nice if you make it for Mike and you can't even eat it yourself.
That's not happening. I strictly make it for myself. I just
Yeah,
make
you get
extra
leftovers.
for him. We have our sense of humor is very similar. So I depend on him to send me anything new that's funny. And a lot of times I steal it for myself. And like if I'm tweeting about something, he probably
out
put
there.
me on. Same thing with music. But
it's nice that you're giving him credit right now.
Yeah, hopefully he listens to this. And hears it. But he has really good taste in music, and he's like really low key funny, which people I don't think know because he's so quiet.
He's really funny.
But he's
Very
really
quiet, very
funny.
tall.
He's like
really funny.
so funny, and that's why I think we connect so well.
Yeah.
Like we got close. Like we started to talk to each other like years ago because this is when like Vine was around, and he kept revining this video of the kid that goes like yeet, you know, the yeet video. But it was the first place I had seen it was on his Vine, and then I thought that he was so funny, so I would just go on Vine to see what he reposted. He swears I liked him then, but I didn't. I just was really into like the comedy part of it. But yeah, he's really funny.
I want to talk about Mike being in the back of that plane.
Freaking out?
Yeah, well, Mike is a tall drink of water.
6'8".
And for him to be in that tiny plane.
He was very stuck, and I kept saying, can you take photos? Like, and he kept saying, there's no angle for me to get because it's so tiny. And I was like, I don't know, figure this out. Like, this is what you do. You're good at this.
Well, supposedly.
Yeah, I mean,
Show
and prove.
Yeah. Let's talk about another person who's very important to you and a friend of the room, David Amaya.
Oh,
David.
we love David.
Well, here's what I want to know first and foremost. He's known as Amaya to everybody, but I think...
Including Busta Rhymes, who thinks he's a woman.
But what?
He tells everyone the story that like when he worked at Rap Radar, I guess like he... I guess because his name was Amaya, he thought he was a girl. So like the pronouns he used to address him in the email were feminine. But he had to be like, nope, I'm a guy.
We know him as David. When do you ever call him David? Ever?
Sometimes.
On his birthday?
And I'm mad.
And you're mad?
And I think he's doing something silly.
Like
I'm
he's your
David.
son, yeah.
But I just, Amaya.
Yeah.
Sometimes I call him Amai.
Amai?
Yeah, shorten it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone knows him as Amaya.
That's it.
That's it.
He has been not only instrumental in your early career, because as we've talked about, he stole an image and didn't include your watermark and
That's
credit
how
and whatever,
built
right?
a relationship with
on
Ellie
Rap
and
Radar.
Yeah.
But since you were saying before that you guys have like climbed the ladder simultaneously, you know?
Yeah, because I feel like every place he worked, that was like a point in my career where like it was also changing, and then we were also sharing photos. So first it was like Rap Radar, and then he went on to work at Def Jam, and then I would be at like Def Jam events, and like we'd share photos there. He'd share them on that account, and then now Complex, it's like you're sharing my photos on the Instagram. And I feel like I've also met so many people in those buildings from being so close to him. And like he knows that if he needs like a high res photo that I've taken, he can always ask me. Like if it was somebody else, I'm probably not even gonna send it. But for Amaya, like I would send him any photo, and I'd rather it go up from him first sometimes than anywhere else. But as I was telling you guys, I feel like it's really important because I think all of us as a whole, right? Like you guys, me, Amaya, like the Kaz's, like Rory,
Kaz.
Kaz. You know, all of us, Carly, everybody in this space of I guess the industry, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've all known each other for a really long time now because of social media. So we've all we support each other because we've all grown together. So we've all been in these same rooms, and I feel like I would say probably in the next 5 years when most of us are controlling this space, it's going to be like really positive because like we all have genuine relationships with each other, which is why I think it continues to work and why I think people can continue to be successful because we're all actually really good friends. Like, you know, like we're all at each other's birthday parties, you know, like you guys know my mom, like, and I think a lot of times people lose sight of how important relationships are to success. They think that they can just like know somebody, take a picture, and like that's what's going to get them in the room. And I think that that's a misconception now.
Who is first of all, I agree with all that. I didn't want to like just like move on to another topic without like saying like I agree with all that. Yeah. Well, what's your relationship like with the like the fan accounts for like Beyonce and all, you know?
I love them.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like
Have they recognized you on the street?
yeah.
But do you feed them or do they just like
I mean, they get whatever I post.
Yeah.
But I think that they like their love comes from a genuine place. I feel like they are really positive. Sometimes like work can get really hard, and like I think I'm really hard on myself. I think I I'm always like trying to figure out like, okay, like, you know, I don't always see the success the same way other people see it because I have like tunnel vision for what's next, or like I'm really hard on myself, and I'm a tough critic. Like I am a tough critic on me. So if you think I'm tough on someone else, like I'm 10 times harder on myself. And I think that sometimes they're not aware of like how like their positivity can like make a day better. Like there's like nothing better than taking a photo and somebody being like, yes, sis, I stand, queen. Like those things are like so positive.
And
but
that's
they're
all
so,
from me. Come to Brazil.
Honestly, like that whole thing is so crazy. Does no one go to Brazil? Because they're on every fan account. Every single artist has like a come to Brazil.
Crazy.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
I want to go to Brazil so bad because
Yeah.
it's just so beautiful. And I don't understand why people are not performing in South America, but I guess they're not.
I feel like they are, but apparently not enough.
I don't feel like they are because
Yeah.
I feel like it's always a constant thing about going to Brazil. Like it's
Well, when I was on the Rihanna plane, and it was like this whole thing about how like Rihanna had not been a part of this 7-day journey. We'd seen her like, you know, perform 7 times. At the very end, Rihanna, who has not been like an actual part of, you know, hanging out with everybody on the plane, she stood at the front of the plane and she said, "Hey guys, I'm sorry I didn't get to hang out, blah, 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 blah." And all these people ran to the front. And one person said, "When are you going to come to Ireland?" And she's like trying to give the speech or whatever. And it's like, she just performed 7 times for you. Like, do you need her to come to Ireland?
Right.
Apparently so.
Yeah, I guess so. Not enough. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that they're like, I mean, obviously there are going to be people that are like really entitled or feel like you should be telling them stuff that 9 times out of 10 you have no idea the answer to either. You know what I'm saying? And I think like a respect level, like I'm a photographer, I'm not the artist. I would never overstep that boundary. I'm like happy to be in a room. You know, I'm happy that you trust me enough to document like your life. So I don't think it's my business. I wouldn't want like Eric and Jeff to go on like Twitter and tell somebody else something I'm doing. It should come from me. But I do value that they love the music and art and my work so much, and that like they will like push it and show other people and talk about it, and like that they really care. And like I feel like it's cool that it matters so much to them because I'm them, you know, like the same way they're getting online to see a new photo, like I'm getting on the internet to see that same new photo. So I think that we're all like in a very similar space as fans. Maybe some of us are not as extreme, and like, you know, working in the space, there's only a certain, like I'm very much a fan of all the artists I work with, like very, very much so. Athletes too, like I'm a big LeBron fan, you know, but I'm also working and I'm also in these rooms. I'm not like a weirdo, you know?
Yeah. No.
So I think like, to sum it up, I really do like love them. Like,
Yeah.
but I also realized that as much of the hive as I thought I was a part of, like there are levels of being a fan that I have not reached. Like I've met people that were at like 48 shows. Like,
Holy cow.
What, this year?
yeah.
Who's that, Ben?
Besides Ben.
You work with a lot of artists, but you're an artist.
Yeah.
And I went down to Times Square to celebrate you when you were putting your art.
You did not come, Jeff. But
On
that's
the,
another story.
Jeff was waiting here for some deliveries.
Yeah.
that was true.
Yeah.
And your work was in Times Square on this giant digital billboard. And you said there was a conscious effort not to put other musical artists up there. What do you think is the one thing that ties all of those images that you did put together up there? Like, who are you as an artist?
I think if you saw the NASDAQ billboard and you saw I think I picked 25 photos, I want to say, or 20 photos. I think the biggest thing would be color. They were all like very vibrant. Even the black and whites, to me, they had like a level of vibrancy. And I think my work is like colorful, it's bold, and it's personable. So I think for me as a photographer, I want photos, like if you see a photo, you want to feel like it's familiar. Like the person that shot it, I was familiar with the subject, and it makes you feel familiar with the subject. So that's how I would describe my niche, because I feel like I don't know anything else besides that. Like I don't only shoot black and white. I don't only shoot digital or only film or only like women in pantyhose, you know? So I would say my work is colorful, bold, and familiar.
Mine is just women in pantyhose.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's my personal Instagram account.
Be careful.
I just got 90 new followers.
That should be your Finsta.
Yeah. You said we were not going to talk about Finstagrams.
We're not. But I do have one that I will give you. And I think in this day and age with Instagram and like having a lot of followers, it's an easy way to share like bullshit that you would think is funny that you don't want to like limit who you are as a person, but just stuff like your close friends think is funny.
Finstagram is a fake Instagram account that,
but they're not really fake, but you just don't show like
it's not the public facing one.
It's all the stuff that you want to like put in your life but really can't.
Yeah.
Like shrimp. So
or like me going to Target.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things, me going to Target.
In the year ahead, the point is to expand your reach, to create your calling card, right? And to do more work that's outside of just touring.
And celebrities,
and,
yes.
Adventure-wise, what else are you going to do?
Start hiking.
No, I'm going to...
Eat lots of shrimp.
Try to attempt to learn how to drive a car.
Okay, this is the year.
Yeah, let's put this in there.
Are you going to do stick shift?
No.
Oh, just dive all the way in?
Yeah, why not? What?
No, we got to start slow. And then...
Or you can get like a class like C license and steal a car like your mom.
I know. Next thing you know, I think I'm going to be a truck driver. So I want to potentially learn how to drive. And...
Well, who's going to teach you how to drive?
I'm going to take driving lessons. Like
so
I wouldn't pay for them.
It wouldn't be like you like saying like
no,
drive me around the parking lot.
I need to learn the logistics.
Yeah.
If there is any driving school that would like to sponsor
Influence.
my driving lessons in exchange for live posts, we can definitely discuss that.
Yeah,
I would much rather not pay for driving lessons because I just don't want to.
Right.
If you own a driving school and you listen to this podcast, by all means, hit us up.
It's a niche audience that we have.
Yeah.
Honestly, you guys have the most diverse.
We do have a very diverse audience. Yeah, it's pretty great.
And they like really love the things that I love to hear people love.
There's probably a sense that people see you go out on the road and they see you with LeBron on the West Coast. They see you with 100,000 Instagram followers and they think, well, whoever at Ravie B is this certain person, but you're a girl from the Bronx. You were raised by your mother. Your brother was 16 years older than you. Who is that girl today, and what are the values that you still have inside of you?
I think I'm that same little girl. I feel like I'm still like living in the Bronx. It's like a cultural melting pot. So. I think that it's a culture that people like really love to like use in like high fashion and all these things that like, like you go to Urban Outfitters and you buy a pair of like earrings for like $30 that I would buy in a beauty supply store for like $2. I think the stories that come out of the Bronx and inner cities in general are like really important. They're like important to me, and I think that. I just want those stories to keep being told by the people that are from those spaces. So like when you ask me like who are like my inspirations, and I'll say people like, like Renelle, who's like a friend of mine, but who's also another woman like from the Bronx who is telling the right stories from the right perspective, or like I did a panel in Charlotte for All Star, and they asked us, who do you think is doing a good job at branding their own personal style? And I went first. I was the youngest on the panel, and I said Aleli, who's a fashion stylist,
and who we badly want on this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, she should do it.
Please put in a good word.
But,
also, you know how long we've been asking Renelle to be on the podcast?
Really?
And we love Renelle like to the end of the world.
She's very much like me. Like it's like hard to like get on here and just talk about things because I kind of like the idea of being like a low, like save my sauce photographer. Like I kind of want to just, like this is very Italian, but your sauce has to like simmer. Like you're supposed to like, the best gravies are like gravies that like cook for hours. So.
By the way, that's how Italian you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I said gravy?
You call it gravy, yeah. We grew up in an Italian town, so we know.
So it's like your gravy. Well, I feel like for me, gravy is when it has meat in it, and then like sauce is no meat.
Right.
So like.
And what's a gabagool?
So I feel like I have to like cook my gravy. Like it's there. You can kind of come, put your little spoon in it, have a little taste, but like it's not ready yet to like be served. That was good, right?
That was really good.
Wow,
That was
I'm
really
so
good.
good at
I
this.
know.
I should do podcasts all the time. Well, wait, let me just say this part and then I'll say that part. So I said it lately, and then everyone after me said like Oprah, Beyonce, Michelle Obama, and I was like, I understand why they said those things, but for me, inspiration and like stuff like that always comes from someone close to me, because I feel like those are the people I know. Like, I love Oprah and everything she represents, but I don't know Oprah. I don't know how she brands herself or how it's behind it, but I can look at someone next to me and know like what they're doing and how they do that. I haven't done really any podcasts. Like, I just did the Paul Rivera one like this week, and I was like, you guys are the only ones I was like, I really want. Like, it got to the point where I was like, okay, ask me again. Like, ask me to do the podcast again.
Well, because there was a time when you were like, I'm not going to do any interviews, and I don't want to.
I still am very adamant about that. For like, one, I want to like live in the moment. I feel like at this point I've talked about what's happened in my life so far, and now I have to recreate like new memories. It's kind of like when an artist makes like their next album. Like, I need like inspiration, I need experiences before I can keep talking about things. And also I think that we're a generation that feels like we have to share and divulge all of the ways we do something and are successful. And I think that the reason like a lot of us don't do interviews and podcasts, it's like, we know that you guys aren't trying to exploit things or do those. Like, you honestly, genuinely care about us, care about our stories. But when things go on the internet, it becomes like a clickbait thing, right? So like, for me, it's always like associating me with who I shoot. And then you don't want that person to feel like you're exploiting them. And you don't want, like, you're not going to make that the title, but like such and such is going to pull a clip and that's going to be the important part and not take away from the whole thing.
I do find that that's a thing that more women think about than guys.
Really?
I think that guys are very open to, especially like doing our podcast or any podcast, I think that guys are much more open to promoting themselves regardless of how it is than I think women are.
And I think that's why this, like, for me, it's important. And I hope that people that listen to it listen to the whole thing, and that if they do pull parts, these are the parts they pull. Because it's never that I don't want to talk to people. Like, I'll sit in a room and talk to anyone. I don't want to do it in a space that it's going to be misconstrued or it's going to misrepresent anything that I'm associated with, because I only can represent myself, but I have the responsibility of, you know, everything I'm attached to, I kind of represent, you know, which is why I think PR always says to me, like, you know, there are a bunch of great photographers. The reason people like you is because they trust you and they respect you and they know that you trust and respect them. So that in my career is so much more important to me than, like, I guess, clout or like being able to say I've worked and been in the room with these people, like, you know?
But how crazy that you were trying to chase clout in your fellow Bronx natives Instagram comments.
It's so ridiculous,
and
right?
she has a song called Clout now with her husband.
But I think that's another reason why she's so brilliant, right? And why, like, for me, shooting her second mixtape cover was so important, because at that point it wasn't like, oh, she's this megastar. It was like, I want to shoot her because we come from the same place. We've seen the same things. Like, to a degree, we're all very similar in experiences, you know? So, like, I feel like if she walked, she could say, I know a girl like Raven. And I could say, I know a girl like Cardi, you know? And that's why it's important to me that I'm documenting the people I feel like I represent. Or it doesn't matter. Like, I want to tell the stories for, like, the stories I know. And, that's why I want to do editorial stuff too, because I think it would be really cool to see, like, okay, like, you're not just walking into a room and, like, meeting, like, this old white guy from, like, Europe that, like, might love you, does creative work, but isn't, like, in the same space as you.
We've seen you a lot since you've done the last podcast, but it is nice to sort of measure one against the other and see how far that you've shot into the atmosphere. And congratulations on everything you've done. Congratulations on everything that you're about to do. And please let your mom know that she's always welcome on this podcast.
I'm going to bring her next time. Wait, I just want to say one thing about you guys. I really, really appreciate the fact that you guys are very on brand with like your podcast. I feel like it's very genuine to both of you. I admire the fact that you don't do things for like clickbait. I even think it's brilliant that you call yourselves like the third favorite podcast, because I think it's like really telling to like the space and what you care about. So I thank you guys both for having me on.
Thank you.
Feel free to put this in your other podcasts as well. I'm trying to be the first B that you announce. When you do the like all the B's you did, it's got to be me first. So just gonna gas you guys up a little.
Right. Yep. Cardi B, Bun B, Chase B, and Max B, and
Ravie B.
Ravie B.
Thank you, Raven.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to this new episode of A Waste Time with It's the Real. Jeff, people want to find out more about us. I'm Eric. You're Jeff. Together, we are It's the Real. People want to find out more about this podcast. It's called A Waste of Time with It's the Real. If people want to find out more about what's going on with us, Jeff, where can they go?
You can always go to itsthereal.com, itsthereal.com, itsthereal.com/shop for all of your mean mug needs. Hell, you can even get a t-shirt there. You can even get a rhyme book on our website, itsthereal.com. You can also sign up for our newsletter, which is on itsthereal.com.
Highly recommend that.
If you want to listen to our podcast, you can go anywhere. Search for It's the Real or A Waste Time with It's the Real. We've got lots of episodes. We can always recommend some if you don't know which one you want to listen to.
Jeff, what about social media today?
We are on Twitter at It's the Real, Facebook at It's the Real, Instagram at It's the Real.
Wait, do we have a Instagram?
I haven't told you about it, but yes.
Okay, what's it called?
Can't tell you.
It's kept from me?
Yeah.
Damn. Damn. What if I guess it?
What do you think it is?
I think it's... It's the Real.
Nope.
Alternatively, Instagram. little Pittsburgh joke for all of our Pittsburgh fans out there.
Yeah, very good.
Shit's the Real.
No, our Instagram is actually A-Track.
It's
just A-Track.
I was going to go with It's the Real Madrid.
Nice.
That's not it?
No, but that's really good.
All right. Well, Jeff, we put out the word today and said, hey, if you want us to shout out one of your friends on the podcast, tag your friend. We tried this once before, and people thought they were smarter than us and tagged themselves. We said, no.
Yeah, we said we'll shout you out, but we won't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Today, I like what I've seen. There's a lot of people who shouted their friends out. Real friends. Real friends. And Jeff is going to shout them out right now.
Charles Elliott wants to shout out cool-ass chef dude from Chicago and also Texas.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to Blame Swoop, our friend from Cleveland, who wants to shout out Chick the Flyest.
Shout out to her.
I am HBY, that's Michael Marshall out in LA. He wants to shout out DJ Extra Sketch, great name.
Shout out to that name.
Doe Easy 106, who we met at Duce Palooza. Shout out Nikki Siete.
Shout out to Nikki.
Alex Engelin, who I know is from Germany, wants to shout out Jan Wen and David Bortart. David Borg.
You know what? Shout out to them and shout out to you for that pronunciation.
Shout out to everybody in Germany. I want to shout out the king of content, KO959, who wants to shout out President Zibby. Now, President Zibby, president of what? I don't know.
Shout out to President Zibby.
Debo1_ says, shout out to my president, Ty Nicole. Now, Ty Nicole is not President Zibby as far as I'm concerned, but shout out to Ty Nicole.
You know what? That's my president.
This is the day that Ty Nicole started acting presidential.
Yes.
Shout out to Chives Bandit, who wants to shout out Clouded Ego.
Yeah, I also want to shout out Clouded Ego.
Max Gredinger, who I have not seen in a little while, at Hold My Coat on Twitter, says to shout out Matt Miggs.
That's our guy.
Our guy.
Shout out to Matt Miggs.
Matt Miggs always gets a shout out. Also, Lenz Anderson from LA,
Shout out to him.
Shoots a lot of our pictures. He wants to shout out Juwan Platt, who says he was the first person to tell me about y'all podcast in 2015. He deserves a shout out.
Definitely. I like that.
Cecil C.A., Big Mouth Cease from San Diego, says that it is it's Marco's birthday. He's 34, great guy, and worth being shouted out. Make it happen. It's the real. So we did.
Happy birthday to you.
Johnny G1 says shout out to Triple D. I'm going to guess that's Dallas, Texas.
Sure. And by the way, if it's not, shout out to whoever or wherever
Triple D is.
Yeah.
Jenna Luckman from Miami, Florida, Boca Raton, actually.
Shout out to her.
Says to shout out Maria.
Shout out to her.
Who should also be a guest, she says.
Shout out to us.
I think that Maria should be a guest. The Real SL, Big Daddy SL, who doesn't follow us,
Damn.
says to shout out Spacely and at Monsterful, hashtag Mazel Talks.
That's a podcast.
I guess. Now oh, it is a podcast. You're right. Pass the Henny and let's keep it kosher.
Well,
do any of these people follow us? Nope. And no, nobody follows us.
damn, well,
Shout out to all of them.
yeah.
Riri's Unicorn Pinata,
All right, I like
Kev
it already.
the Poet
Yeah.
from the hashtag Topanga Hive.
Oh, I know Kev the Poet.
Says, shout out to Styles Pete for bars, wisdom, funny tweets, and movie reviews. Please shout out Daylight, the rapper,
Yeah.
because Hip Hop Media Inc. shines one of the best spitters alive. They'd be my friends if they met me. Crying face, shrug face.
Okay, so shout out to Styles P.
Yep,
Shout out to Daylight.
yep.
And shout out to the Unicorn.
Riri's Unicorn Pinata.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Cho Daddy,
David Cho Daddy?
who has a great Twitter name of La-di-da-di-da. Who said to shout out Jimmy Brantley, our guy
Yeah.
from North Carolina. Winnie's World
Yes, also North Carolina.
says to shout out at Lexa El Terra, the hottest rapper out of South Carolina. Shout out to Brandon Flores at Just Call Me Flo, who says to shout out Juggernaut Jackie
Okay, we're gonna do that. Shout out to
or
them.
Jack.
Jacques? The king of R&B?
Yes, Jacquees. Shout out to Giancarlo Chin,
Oh, Chicago.
who has been on our podcast.
This is true.
People always say, oh, how come you don't interview a regular person? Well, we interviewed Giancarlo Chin.
Do people say that?
Yes.
Do they say it in that voice?
They always say it in that voice.
Weird.
Shout out to at Radical Whisper, that's his girlfriend Cindy.
All right.
And also at Prince Ponce 666, my best friend Julio. He couldn't pick one. Shout out to, this is from Mike the Manager, who said to also shout out Sean Savvy and Naiva Ballerina. She's from New York.
All right. I like that.
Josh Gonzalez,
Oh, our guy.
who is the loudest person on Instagram,
Oh.
and also one of my favorite people on Instagram.
Just that Jeff meant it in a nice way.
It is a nice way, but he is very loud.
Like the Will Ferrell character.
Yeah, like he's so excitable.
Yeah.
Can't stop screaming.
Shout out to Josh.
Josh Gonzalez, he said to shout out our friend Amir, Blame Label.
Shout out to Amira Bessie.
Brennan Burleson said to shout out Ready Every Year, Tater Baked 219, and Daylight the rapper.
Man, a lot of Daylight fans.
So let's do it.
Shout out to Daylight and shout out to everybody else who's shouting him out.
Aaliyah Perspectively
Yes. Oh, shout out to Aaliyah.
said to shout out Silva Sounds, who should spread the word while they're in Brazil, because we want some Brazilian fans.
Shout out to Aaliyah.
Come to
Shout
Brazil.
out to Brazil.
Yes. Muncie's very own, Muncie, Indiana, Hoosier Scott.
Great name. Shout out to Hoosier Scott.
He's my Scott. Says to shout out Mianga Music. Says Beyond deserves that look.
Well,
Check him and shout him out.
all right. Well, today is that day. Shout out to you.
Young Lib 401 said to shout out some talented and hardworking gentlemen, De La Andrade, Beatty Kenneth 2, Podcast Token, and Semscure.
Shout out.
Everybody's from Providence.
Shout out to all of them out there.
Shout out to everybody in Providence. We're trying to get up there. Shout out to Eddie Ray, a longtime listener. Boston's own. He said to shout out his wifey, La Princia XO.
Shout out to her.
The Don Coogee said, shout out to Don Coogee.
Well, you know what? Had to have one.
And President Zibby, she said, whoop whoop, I have to listen, thanks KO.
Shout out to our president, President Zibby. As always, guys, now for real, for real.
Sure.
We'll see you guys next week.